Good evening, my lovelies. How are you all? Happy Wednesday. We're going to do the quilt along tonight. Like I said before, we're doing it in the evening, just to give those chance to people who are, maybe working or got like childcare, doing grandkids and all that sort of thing. Just get a chance to sit down. So have you all had your tea? I hope you have. I haven't had mine yet. We've got ramen tonight, which is one of my favourites. Phil makes an amazing ramen. So he's going to be doing that, but we're going to do that later. We're going to have a later evening supper. So I've got a cup of coffee to keep me going, because I had a little sausage pants last night. And he doesn't sleep normally, but he slept like an absolute dream last night. He only woke up once, and it was a quick dummy back in, and he went flat back out, which is unheard of. But I woke up like every half an hour or so thinking, why is he still asleep? Why is he still asleep? So I'm knackered, to be honest. He slept for nearly 12 hours. It was brilliant. So let's say hello. So he's coming online. So hi Anne, hi Jean, hi Claire, hi Taryn. Lots of you coming online, which is lovely. Everybody okay with sound and picture? You all alright? Hopefully you all are. Hopefully it's all coming through okay. So I'll give everybody just a couple of minutes. Hi Susie. Hopefully you got the cutting instructions. So I'll just go through these bits and how it's going to work before we get actually going, okay? Hi Wendy. Hi Linda. Hi Bernice. Sorry, I couldn't read that for a second then. I was going to say Bernie. No, it's Bernice. Hello, Bernice. All working fine. Picture and sound's good. Hi Maria. Lovely, lovely. Hi Jean. Hi Natalie. Fabulous. Lots of you coming online, which is lush. So we're going to do my Hearts and Stars quilt, which is a row by row quilt. I wrote this pattern, oh gosh, about 5 or 6 years ago, not long after we opened the shop. There's lots of other people. Hi Carol, hi Nikki. And it was one of the first block of the months that we did in the shop. Having then written quite a lot of patterns since, there are some things I would not necessarily do this way, but we're going to do it this way because there's some different ways of putting stuff together. There's different ways of doing flying geese. There's different ways of doing quarter square triangles and things like that. I will put the cutting up instructions up each fortnight. So we're going to run it fortnightly, okay, to give people time to do each row before we move on to the next one. Oh, excuse me, just a second. My Alexa's going off for some reason. Go away, Alexa. What are you doing? Go away. Turn my phone off. Go away, stupid thing. Don't know why that went off. It was suddenly going on about doing something random over there. That's probably because the baby keeps chewing my phone. It's probably got a bit of dribble in it. Hi Sonia, hi Helen, hi Margaret. Hello everybody. So we're going to do it fortnightly on a Wednesday evening. Because that will give everybody time to do the rows. These blocks, they're not complicated, but some of them are a little bit more involved. There's lots of different techniques in this one. One of the reasons I wrote this pattern was so with the block of the month that we did originally, it would be different techniques each month. So there is a bit of applique, there's a little bit of foundation piece in, there is some normal piece in as well as we've got some stop blender rows as well, which are like these, there's one at the top there. Oh, you can't actually see the other ones, but I'll flip it when we get to that one, okay? But you can see this one up here. That's what they call a blender row or a stop border, okay? And they're pieced as well. So it's going to run over 6 sessions. We're going to do 5 rows, and then on the 6th session, we will do the blender rows and how to put it all together. So hopefully that's okay for everybody. Yeah, Claire, I don't know what my phone was going on, but it's probably just dribble related because he's choose it all the time. Hi Leslie, hi Eileen, hello everybody. So week 1, so I'll put the cutting instructions up hopefully a couple of days before the Wednesday. There is a pattern available either as a digital download or a paper copy, which you can purchase from the website, from our website, or if you don't want to purchase the pattern, we will go through the block together so you can kind of stop and write notes and stuff. But it's £2 for a digital copy. But if you buy the paper pattern altogether for all 6 parts, it's £4 for a paper copy each week or fortnight, or £12 for the whole thing. Okay, so Linda did this one the first time, and Wendy as well. I don't know if Wendy's there, but those you might have seen them regularly comment. Linda, who works with us, and Wendy's who are regular with us. They both did it first time round, and she's saying it was fab, and she learnt a lot. Which I think, hopefully you guys will too as well. the first block that we're going to do, okay, is this one right here. Okay, so there's 4 of them. You need to make 4, okay, which is why I'm giving people a fortnight. You might be super fast and whizzy and do it in a couple of days. Other people obviously have got other commitments and they've got other projects they're working on. So I thought I'd space this one just a little bit for everybody, okay? So we're going to make this star, okay? You've got 4, 1, 2, 3, you've got 4 star blocks. And then you've got the hearts block as well, hence my heart and stars, okay? So we're going to start with this one, which is the sugar star block, okay? I'm going to go through what you need, the cutting instructions, and I'm going to go through it on the pattern as well, okay? So I'm going to go to the overhead, and hopefully I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place for you guys. So, pattern comes, let's get the first page. So you can kind of see the block, okay? This is block 1. You're going to make 4 of them. For your cutting instructions, I would suggest that you write this. Now, it's written with the colours in the graphics, as with a lot of our patterns. Write on your pattern or write down with... I can't wait, had the pattern ages. Oh, bless you. Oh, good. Well, we're hopefully going to be going through this, Dawn, so you'll be able to do it along with us. I've written obviously with the graphics, okay, what colour they are. You choose your own colours, okay? This can be done really scrappy. This can be done with, you know, a bundle. You want about 6.5 metres in total, and then 1 3/4 metres of your background fabric. The border, which you can add later, is as a metre, and then use all the scraps to make a scrappy binding, okay? But for on the graphics, my green fabric, I'm actually going to use this dark grey. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest now. I'm not remaking the whole quilt. All right, I've done it twice actually. I don't want to do another one in this exact thing, so I will be doing mine all like pretty scrappy. I'll try and use the same colours. You don't have to use the same colours for each block. You know, if you've got 6.5 metres, just choose 3 for this one and your background. Next time, it could be a different 3 in a background. Okay, but from your green fabric. Mine's dark grey. Actually, grey was not a good colour to choose on this map, was it? It says you want 2 squares, which are 3 7/8. Okay. I have since learned that I really, really dislike 3 7/8. Don't do it. It gives you no wiggle room. Okay. But if you're happy with your accuracy, cut 3 7/8. If you're not, cut to 4 inches, and we'll square them down. All right. You then want 2 squares, which are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that's exactly what I've got. I've got 2, which are 4 inches for me, because I like the wiggle room. And I've got 2, which are 4 1/4 and 4 inches. From my blue fabric, so for me, that's going to be orange. It's going to be like this lovely corally orange colour. You want 2 squares, 3 by 7/8. Again, I've gone up because I like the wiggle room. And I've done 2 of those. Okay. From my yellow fabric, which for me is going to be light grey, you just want 1 square, which is 4 1/2. Okay, and then from your, for me it's white, that's my background fabric. Okay, you want 1 square, which is 4 1/2, like that. You want 1 square, which is 7 1/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches, and you want 4 that are 3 1/2 inches. Okay, now that obviously is the cutting instructions for 1 block. You might decide that you're going to do all your cutting first. Let me just go back to the quilt a second. Each block doesn't have to be the same, okay? I chose to do, when I made this one up, chose to make them all the same. But each block in this row, same pattern, obviously, all the same star, but you could mess around with your fabrics, play around with them, okay? That's entirely up to you. You could do 2 and 2, or you could do each one different, or you can do all 4 the same. Whatever you want to do, all right? Just, you know, this is your quilt, remember. You know, I'm giving you the guidelines, you play. And if you have questions or anything, you think, oh, I'm not sure about what goes with what, ask me, okay? Just shout and ask me, all right? So, back over to here. Now, there is a slight printing problem on one of the pages of this, so I want to point it out, and I only actually saw it this afternoon as I was looking through this. When we get to making the flying geese, this bit here, it looks very yellow. It's like a lime green. Well, it's not the same as the yellow, but it's like lime green, and it's just remember that it is supposed to be the same as this dark green, okay, or whatever colour your green is. I'll go through it again nearer the time. All right. So first thing we're going to do is, everybody with me so far? You all okay? Everybody fine? Yeah? Let me know, okay? We're going to start with some cutting, okay? So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut up my grey ones. So the ones that were 4 inches, 3 7/8 on the pattern, okay, put them right side on top of right side like that, okay? And we're going to cut them in half diagonally to make half square triangles, okay? So like I said, this one's got slightly different techniques to how we would normally make half square triangles. We are going to do them sort of old school, all right, like that. So I've got 4 there now, okay, so I've done that with that one. And for the one that's 4 1/4, you should have 2, okay, which that's my 4 1/4. I'm just going to double check that. I did just cut the right one, didn't I? Yeah, 4 1/4. Again, I'm going to cut those in half diagonally, like that, to make 4. There we go. So basically with both of those colours, you're just making triangles to start with. Alright, so I'm going to put those aside. For my blue in the graphic, but it's orange in for me. Okay, I probably should have just chosen the colours of the graphics. That would have made life easier, wouldn't it? oh, excuse me. Again, exactly the same. So I'm just going to cut this corner to corner diagonally and make my triangles like that. I've just put a nice new blade in. It's delicious. I love having a new blade. So again, I've got 4 triangles. My yellow fabric, it's light grey. Okay. Oh no, I'm going to leave that one for a second because I'm going to show you. What I want to do with that one is pair it up with my 4 1/2 background fabric. So I'm just going to put that aside. We're going to start working with that one first. Okay. And actually, that I'm not going to do the other cutting. We'll do that when we get there. All right. So starting with this, we're going to make quarter square triangles. And again, we're going to do them the traditional way. Okay. So one of the reasons each of these rows have got like modern and traditional techniques in them. So I just wanted to show you everything. Don't make things easy, that's boring. Yeah, don't think make things easy for myself, not in the slightest. Okay, so just lie them on top of each other like that and we're going to cut them together. So we're going to cut things right across like that to make half square triangles, but we're also going to cut the other direction as well. Now you can see I'm not moving my fabric. Move your ruler, not your fabric. If that means you have to get up and move around the table, that's actually better because things tend to be more precise, more accurate if you do that, okay? So it's a little bit awkward because I'm trying to do it on camera for you, but I would have, normally I'd stand up and just move that. Don't move your fabric, or use a turning mat, okay? There we go. So we now have 4 quarter square in the grey. 1, 2. Can you guys see these colours okay? I really didn't think about the fact I had a grey mat. There we go. And I've got 4 in the white, which is what we want. Okay, like that. We're going to sew these together. So what we're going to do, normally it's very, very easy when because we're so used to doing half square triangles to do that and sew them along the diagonal. You don't want to do that, okay? We're going to sew them down the short edge. So we're going to put them together like that. Am I in the right place? I'm not sure whether I am or not. There we go. And we're going to sew them together like that. You want to make sure that your coloured fabric, whatever that is always on the left. Okay, this only works if you keep these in order, this bit. So it's very easy when you pick them up and take them to the machine that you can end up doing that. Okay, so just make sure that it's always on the coloured is always on the left, your background is always on the right. So I'm going to pile these up like this, so all 4 one side, make sure they're all right sides up, like that. And we're going to stitch these down. Everything is obviously done with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can see the grey, okay, brilliant, thanks Jean. We're going to take these over to the machine and we're going to stitch down this short edge here. Alright, so over we go to number 4. Hopefully I should be on the little over here now. Alright, I'm going to keep those in my little piles with my grey on the left. Okay, like that. We're going to put them right sides together, so there to there. Alright, now if you don't want to sew with that point first, like this, because it can get caught in the seam allowance, in the feed dogs. As you're doing that, it can drag it down. Put a pin into the side that you're going to sew, all right, and flip it. It's very easy to think, oh, I want to sew on this corner and do that, and then the grey is going to be on the wrong side. So I don't want to start sewing on this point, because that will get dragged into the feed dogs and then it all gets chewed up and it's manky. So I know I've got to sew this side because I'm pinning it. I can flip it like that and away we go. So I'm going to go like that, just line this up. So this block as well is it's a little bit of a test of how accurate you can be. Okay, there's not a huge amount of squaring up in it, but it's a good one for testing that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Right, so that one on top of there, like that. Line those up like that. I don't want to put it in that way, so come on, flip it over and away we go. As long as they always end up on the left hand side, you're fine. Right, so let's get the next one. Okay, so how have you all been? Everybody okay? Everybody been well? Please do talk to me, because it's going to be very boring if I'm just chattering away to myself all night. How many of you watched the little 1 o'clock we did yesterday with Gail? Wasn't she fantastic? She's such a real inspiration. She's so talented and does completely different stuff to us. But oh, I do. Those gnomes are just the cutest little things. They really are. Here we go. Okay. And then we're going to come back over to the table here, like that. Snip them apart. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move my coffee out of the way because that's so going to go over now, because I'm going to flip this round. Relax and watching you. I had a busy day teaching. Oh, bless you. We've had a really busy week, actually. Sarah's off, and it's just been me and Beth, and because Linda's on jury duty. And it's been a busy old week. We had lots of people in the shop, which is lovely. Lots and lots of web orders, lots of foam. So I'm ironing it out towards the darker fabric, okay? It was absolutely wonderful. Watched late, but really enjoyed it. Yeah, wasn't it? It was really nice to have a chat with her. I mean, she's been in the shop a few times, and hence why we persuaded her to do a 1 o'clock with us. And yeah, she's just such a lovely lady, really, and just so talented and really inspirational as well. She's got some really nice ideas about, how you sew and what you should think and stuff with, about your sewing. So yeah, love it. So yeah, please do. She's on her channel, craft store, whatever it is now, on Sunday. So yeah, please do check her out, okay, on Sunday. Show her a bit of love. There we go. So we've made 4 little quarter squares, all right, and they're all the same, which is what you want. Okay. Right, you bought one of her gonks to make. You loved them. There were so many patterns I'd love. I don't think my bag balance would cope. Natalie, I know. Tell me about it. You ordered gnomes for Christmas. Oh, lovely. Yeah. It was like watching a chat show. It was just you can't shut me up. That's the problem, isn't it? Okay, so this is what we've done here on the pattern. We've got to this point. Okay. So next little bit. So I'm going to reference back because I know I want my green on the graphics. So my green is actually my dark grey. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So these were the 4.5s. Yeah, hang on. Have I just done something wrong there? Hang on. Sorry. 2 seconds, ladies. It's 4.25, not 4.5. I'm going with it. It's 4.25. Here we go. And we're going to put these one on each one. Yeah, 4.25 is right. I think that's a typo just there. See, it's 5 years since I saw this pattern. That's a typo there. That should be 4.25, not 4.5. Oh, it made me go all funny then. I was like, oh no, what have I done? But no, I'm right. 4.25. Okay, and we're going to put those on like that to create these little pieces like that. Okay, so we're now going to be sewing down that long edge. So it's the 4.25 half squares that we've made, not the 4s. All right, so we're going to do that now. So Gail was amazing. Left her work and seen her on the craft store before. Bought lots of things from her website yesterday. Oh, Ali, I know, it was very tempting, wasn't it? Susie, you had an eye test today, so your stony broke. Oh, bless you. Using up all sorts of odds and bits in the colours you used on the patterns. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Why not? Absolutely do it, lovely. This is a good scrap buster because, like I was saying, each of the what's the word? The stars doesn't have to be the same. Make it completely scrappy. Make a rainbow of colours. So we're going to go back over to here, and we're going to put one of these on one of those. Okay, like that. So right sides together. I like to have the seam on the top because I can control it then. If it's underneath, it's more likely to get all jammed up. Line that up. Now, I've got no choice but to put this in point end first. Now, if your machine is one that chews up, start in a little bit, okay? In fact, let me just grab a pin a second because that thread's caught. Here we go. Start in a little bit and then reverse up to do the seam. It'll stop it getting so chewed up. So can you see I'm actually starting in about almost ½ an inch. And I'm going to take a couple of stitches like that, and then hopefully, this is when it doesn't work, if I reverse back a little bit like that, I can complete the seam but without it chewing. There we go. And go slow when you start that point, and it's less likely to chew it up. So there we go, down that one. Let's grab the next one. I know I've got to go and have an eye test, Susie. My eyes are playing up something terrible again. My erosion thing is really bad. I'm struggling with my contacts, and I can't actually see properly in my contacts. Very dangerously actually. I was driving the other day and realised that I couldn't actually see the number plate out of my right eye at all with my contacts in. So I need to go and have my eyes done. We were just talking about before I came on, actually, I need to get back to the opticians because my glasses are not the right prescription either, I don't think. I think the erosion has definitely affected my eyesight quicker than they thought it was going to be, because it's really not pleasant. So there we go, down that one. And you can see I'm going quite slowly because again you've got a bias edge and things, so you want to make sure that you're not going too fast, you're not stretching anything out, and having that seam on the top means that I can make sure that it goes in flat as well and doesn't get all ruckled up on the feed dogs. Just using my nail to go through. Oh, see, that one's moved just a weeny bit, so over we come like that. There we go. Right. That's the first little bit done. Oh, hang on, what's going on there? I've got an alert coming up. Gorgeous nails, thank you. Courtesy of Meg. It's like a dove grey with a little bit of glitter on it. They actually need redoing. You can see the regrowth now. But yeah, Meg, Sarah's daughter, did them for me, ready for a Chanda last time. And she's a fantastic nail technician, she really is. If you're in the Dinas, Powys, Barry, Penarth, vaguely Cardiff area, come see her. She's right next door to the shop, and then you can come see us as well. There we go. So when I iron these out now, am I in the right place? When I iron these out, I want to iron them out. Because of that bulk there, we're going to iron them this way. So I'm going to turn it so that it's on the top, set my seam, and then roll out like that. Okay, and we've made that first little element. The same here. And roll out like that. Just be real gentle. Starch your fabrics before you do your cutting out. It's always worth it, particularly if you're using scraps like Susie was saying she was going to. It's worth putting that starch back into the fabric. If it's been all sat in a scrap box or sat not necessarily very neatly folded or anything like that. Not that I'm saying, Susie, yours wouldn't be, but it's worth restarching before you start. Sandra, you've had your new specs a few weeks ago. They've gone back to they've had to go back to have a lens redone. Oh, bless you. Yes, pain, isn't it, when that happens? So I just want to check the sizing on these, just to make sure, and then we can cut off those dog ears as well. And I'm hoping they should be 3.5. No, hang on. Let me just double check. If I stretch that one in the sewing. 3 3/3, sorry, not 3.5, 3 3/4. Again, I'm not reading the pattern properly. 3 3/4, that's right. It should be 3 3/4, like that, like that. Trim off those dog ears. 3 3/4 this way. So this bit is square up to 3 3/4. Like I said, I'm going to slurp my coffee. I really need it. It's better. There's one. Okay, all done. I'm going to do 4 like that. So 3 3/4. So I'm using that 45-degree line down the seam, and you can see there's my 3 3/4, 3 3/4 line like that. And basically all I'm doing is just taking off any slightly stretched bits, look, it's diddy bits, and that dog ear. All right. So square them up. Square them up like that. Okay. And that's why this one I was thinking it's 3.5. It's not. The next bit is 3.5. That's why hang on. Let me move that other ruler out of the way. It's getting in my way. There we go. It's 3 3/4 this bit, which is why that now fits. That was, I had a little panic then. I was like, no, why is that not the right size? But it's not. It's fine. It's as it should be. So 3 3/4, 3 3/4. So it's little man's first birthday next Wednesday. He's gonna be 1. I can't believe it. Where did that year go? Well, that year went in lockdown and all sorts of nonsense, didn't it? But where did a year go? It's crazy. My son and daughter-in-law are hopefully going to be completing on a house soon, and they want a swing or a slide for the garden for him because he had so much at Christmas. So in the paper pattern it says 3.5. Oh, does it? Hang on, I'm getting myself all muddled up now. Which bit am I doing? Oh, it does say trim to 3.5. See? Oh, thanks, Bernice. See, I really am knackered, love. Maybe this isn't a good idea doing the doing the one at 7 o'clock. I should be having a nap now. Right, yes. I'm sorry, I forgot. Right, scrap what I just did. We're going to re-square. So this is the bit you want the 1 3/4 bit for. That's where I'm getting the 3/4 from. So find the 1 3/4 line on your ruler, there and there. Okay, so you're going to line up the 45-degree line, and you where the 1 1/4 and 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 meets. Put that right on that centre point. Oh, I knew there was a 3/4 in there. How did that happen? And then you're going to go up and across like that. There we go. Maybe I should make a flipping whole one. And then I'd remember the details, wouldn't I? That's better. There we go. Thanks, Bernice. I'm glad you're reading the pattern. So I knew there was a 3/4 there. I knew there was. My brain was gone. 1 3/4 on that bit and square up to 3.5. Right. I'll very quickly do these ones so that this all works. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4, like that. Up there and across there. A year. My eldest granddaughter's 21. How did that happen? Oh, wow. Gosh. Yeah, I just don't understand where that year went. Where's that tiny little newborn gone already? Now he's walking. Oh, Josh had him today because Cara was at work, and so Josh was uncle daycare today, and the door suddenly opened at like 4 o'clock in the shop, and it was little man, and he'd walked over with Josh. He'd walked all the way not all the way from the house. It's not very far, but it is for him because he's only been walking about 2 weeks. It was the cutest little thing. He comes toddling in the shop, comes to find me. It was so cute. Here we go. So line up that 45 like that. 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Thank you for Bernice for correcting me, because I would have got really cross when none of this fitted in a minute. There we go. Brilliant. Sorted. Sorted, sorted. Okay. Right. We've got 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are going to be we're going to put these together now, and we're going to make a double pinwheel. All right. So, see, if I'd have actually read the pattern beforehand, it says 3.5 there. We're going to put them so that, can you see, you're going to make little pinwheels. So concentrate on, I find if I concentrate on the big triangle, you get your pinwheel right. So I've got this one that way. This one I'm going to turn. Okay, so it goes that way. So I'm turning them like 90 degrees each time. Okay, so it started like that, 90 degrees like that, another 90 degrees like that. So if that one starts like that, another 90 degrees, and there's your pinwheel. Okay, like that. We're going to put this together. So that one to that one, this one to this one, iron in opposite directions, and then we'll nest them. So right sides together. Hang on, I should be down here somewhere, not up there, shouldn't I? right sides together like that, and over we go to the machine. There we go. And again, I've got seams on the bottom, so I'm going to start slowly and hope it doesn't chew up. There we go, and it didn't. And just reline that one like that. Just make sure that that's sitting under nicely. Oh, I don't know, this was supposed to be a help for you, but I think it's probably more hindrance than help. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to come off this camera, I'm just going to very quickly press them and we're going to put them together. So one's going to go one way, like that. So I've ironed that one towards the left. The other one I'm going to iron towards the right, so that I can nest those two. So I've still got my pinwheel. Double check at this point because it's very easy to get them the wrong way around. So double check it's right, put it together. Get that centre nicely nested up right in there. Pin it if you want to. You know I don't bother because I'm lazy. And away we go. Again, I've got a seam underneath, so go steady. Okay. I always as well, on something quite that thick, just make sure that that's lying nice and flat. Keep your keep your finger there to the last minute. Use a pin, or if you've got a stiletto, you can use one of those. Get all that. Oh, see, come on. I went too fast. I put my foot on the pedal too fast then. Line this back up and down to the end. There we go. Okay. I think it's a day for mistakes. You made several errors and mistakes in class today. Oh, I'll tell you what. It's just. I think it's. Is it a full moon? Maybe. Probably is in this house. There we go. So I did chew it a little bit, but never mind. I'm not going to unpick that. Okay, and then we're going to push that out. And there's the centre of your block. Okay, like that. Give that a really good press. You could give this another spritz of your starch and that'll just help everything lay flat. Does anybody use one of those tailor's clappers, the wooden blocks? I've always looked at them and thought, oh, I wonder if I would use it. Does anybody actually use one? Do you find it helps? The other thing, just as well, to make sure you're looking for, can you see you've got your little 1/4 inch seam allowance? Okay, that you're not going to lose those points because you've got your allowance there. All right, so put that to one side. I think it might be a full moon, lovely. It really might. Okay, so we are going to make the flying geese unit. Now this we're going to do a bit more cutting. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our background square, which is 7 1/4 by 7 1/4, and we're going to cut it in half both ways diagonally. Let me just slurp my coffee again. Give me a coffee break a minute, guys. Here we go. So, again, you can use the 45 on your ruler. That's partly what they're there for. If you line the 45 up, right down the edge, and then make sure the edge of the ruler is right on the edge of the fabric, you should get a perfect cut. Okay, and then up that way. Again, move the ruler, not the... Oh, hang on. Move the ruler, not the fabric, and get that one corner to corner that way. Now this is a slightly different way of making flying geese. Normally we would what's the word, oh my goodness, what's the word, use a rectangle, and you'd put squares either side and flip them out and cut off the excess. This is kind of the traditional way of making them. You've got no excess with it, which is nice. I tend to do no waste flying geese now because you get no waste and you make 4 at a time. But this is kind of the traditional way of doing it. All right. We're then going to grab these ones. Okay. Now, something again. Let's go back to the pattern a second. You want to make sure that your green, which is my dark grey, okay, is always on the left again. All right. So we're going to do that one first. So we're going to grab one of these. You see on the pattern here. So your green always needs to be on the left hand side. All right, and that's because of how it goes together to make the double like star. All right, so whatever you've used for your green fabric, which for me was my dark grey here, I want to make sure that that is on the left hand side. So we're going to do all the lefts first, and we're going to put this is going to end up being like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop this on like that, and you're going to align the bottom edge. Okay, so you want that excess up here in this top corner. There's no excess here. Align that bottom edge, and we're going to do that on all 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Everybody okay? You're all still with me? So that's going to end up like that. So we're going to flip it over, align up that bottom edge. Now I know very often when you put triangles on, you have equal amounts either side. You're not going to do that this time. You're aligning up the, get my words out, aligning, put my telephone voice on, aligning the bottom edge. There we go, like that. There we go. You all okay? Still with me? Brilliant. Yeah, fabulous. Excellent, excellent. I haven't completely scared you off with my nonsense then. I should have known better. It's a 12.5-inch block, so I should have known better for 3.5s, that 3 1/4 wouldn't be right. So we're then going to stitch down this long edge each time. All right. You gave blood today, and only for the second time. You feel a bit squiffy, so not done anything this afternoon. Oh, bless you. Oh, well, good for you for giving blood, though. I'm not allowed to give blood anymore. I had glandular fever in my mid-30s, and they won't let me give blood. We've got no choice but to put that point in. So go in a little bit further, like we said earlier. Take a couple of stitches. Yeah, I used to give blood quite regularly, and then I got glandular fever and they won't let me give blood anymore. So good for you, Sandra. Well done. You love my nonsense. Good. I'm glad someone does, love. There we go. So I'm going to go all the way down like this and off the edge. Now remember, I cut my squares at 4 inches rather than 3 7/8, so I've got a bit of wiggle room. Okay, so we're going to go down like that. We're going to do the same on each one. And we're basically making, go a bit slow, there we go. Make sure that's realigned nicely. Like, you can whiz down it once you get that past that point. You can get a bit whizzy if you want to, but I do find chain piecing means that it doesn't tend to get as eaten up as much as the very first one. So off we go, that one, and then another one. There we go, and down that one too. Cut my thread, and then off we go again. We're not far from there actually, ladies. We're nearly done. Okay, get this one out of the way. Over we go over here, and we're going to iron these out. And again, we're going to be really careful, and we're going to iron it out towards the darker fabric. So, like that. And gently roll out and press. There we go. So what colours have you picked, guys? We've had a few ladies ring, and I've put some bundles together. But I'd be interested, what colours are you doing this in? Let me know. Are you going scrappy like Susie said she was going to? Are you sticking with blues? Are you going, Ali, are you going a full-on rainbow? What are you doing? There we go. So I've got all those down that side. And then we're going to do exactly the same with these ones, with the corally coloured ones on the other side. So it's going to go like that. But again, I'm going to line the bottom edge. And this, like I said, these are flying geese, but they're just a different way of doing them. Okay, like that, like that. Okay, there's the first two. Let's chuck those over there, and then these two. And then I'm going to show you how to trim these up so that we've given ourselves a bit of wiggle room. You can see that this dog ear is a bit bigger. Okay, we're going to trim those up afterwards. Okay. Like that. Okay, so we're going to sew all those down, back over here, and then we'll do the trimming. And I'll check the pattern before we do the trimming. Or somebody read the pattern for me. Are they 6.5 by 4.5, something like that? I can't remember now without looking. I'll look. There we go. So again, I've got a lot of seams and all under there. Go steady, go slow. And you're on the bias as well, so everything needs to be just a little bit more steady. You can use teals, greens and blue. Ooh, nice, that sounds good. I love doing a quilt along with you guys because it means that I get to see all these different beautiful colour combinations that you use. It was so lovely seeing the medallion quilts, and quite a few of you have finished them as well, which is amazing. I still haven't finished mine. I've still got to put I've finished the final row, just haven't attached it. But I do love seeing everyone's colour combinations and what you kind of, you know, put together. It's beautiful. There we go. And this one, 6 by 3.5. That makes sense. Thank you. So it's a 12.5 inch blocks there, for crying out loud. Of course it's 3.5. Everything's done in 4s by 3.5 units. Dope. Told you I'm knackered. That boy had a really good sleep, but I got all paranoid because he was sleeping and woke up loads. There we go. You're doing blue, pale grey and pale green. I hope it works. Oh, that sounds beautiful. All like eau de Nil colours, what my mum would call eau de Nil, that lovely sort of, you know, slightly French chic feel to it. Right, back over here, do this last bit of ironing, and then you're going to be done in about an hour, I think. You know, one of the reasons as well of doing them in the evening wasn't just for those people who work and stuff, was also the fact that it gives me a little bit more time. I'm not rushing. I can do each element with you. You know, you might be very boring for you to watch me make 4 flying geese, but I think it just gives you a realistic timeline as well of how long it takes to do, you know, each block. So each block is probably going to take you, by the time you've done your cutting, maybe an hour to do each block. Helen, you're doing black, whites and pinks. Oh, that sounds lovely. Natty, you need to work on your medallion quilt first, but need to finish some other things before starting another one. Fair enough. Just join in and you know, watch along with us, guy. Lovely. You know, just you're welcome to sit and have a chat with us. Right. Okay. So 6.5 by 3.5. What we're going to do is we're going to, first things first. Right. Am I right in the right place? Because we gave ourselves, if you've used 3 7/8, you won't really need to square up. You just need to take your dog ears. If you use the 4 inches, which I like to do, we're going to, what we want is our 1/4 inch to be here. So that's where we're going to take the wiggle room off. That's the bit we're going to look for first. So find the 1/4 inch line on your ruler and line it up so that the 1/4 inch hits that point. Okay. If anything, make it like one thread that way to give yourself, again, a teeny tiny bit of wiggle room. But I've got the 1/4 inch right on there, and I'm just going to trim off that like that. Okay. So it's not much, but if I wasn't mega accurate, which I'm not with my sewing, that 3 7/8 might be that much too short. So we're then going to go 3.5 like that to get my width right. There. And I want them to be 6.5. So half of 6.5 is 3.25. So I'm going to go down my 3.25 line like that. So I've got my 3.25 line right just there. This 45-degree line is going up there like that. Can you see? Hopefully. Am I in the right place for you guys? Yeah. So that now I'll get my 6.5, and it is a widgy bit, but do it. It's worth it. You know how much I hate squaring up, and I know you guys do, but it's worth it just to get rid of those dog ears and get really nice, neat ones. So Helen's doing pink, black, white and pinks, which is beautiful. Bernice, you're doing for the stars, greys and yellows, pinks and purples and hearts. Oh, nice. That sounds lovely. So I'm just going to very quickly do that again. Okay, so 1/4 inch on that point. Make sure that it's all nice and lined up and you can get it in there. See, hang on. See that? Can you see? If I put that on the duck, can you see how, because this was all biased, how this is bowed a little bit here? Okay. Just be aware of that, because I think that's one of the reasons I don't use this technique very much, because everything is sewn on the bias. Things can stretch out quite a lot, all right? So just be careful, think about it, make sure that you can get it, your 3.5 and 3.5 out. I can just get it in with my 1/4 inch there. Okay, in fact, I'm going to not care that my point is going to exactly meet. What I want to do is just take that little bit off there, like that. Oh, that was rubbish cutting. Went too fast. 3.5, where's my 3.5 line there? There we go. Like that, that's better. There we go. And then we can do it this way. So I'm at 3.5 there. Trim that bit off. can you see that I've got this much here, but where it bowed, there's nothing here. That little bit there will disappear in the seam allowance, so don't worry. Okay, and then we want the 6.5, so I want my 3 1/4, and I'll get my 6.5 out. See, that's really bowed badly. I'm just gonna, right, if it's bowed too much, give it a good press. Wiggle back. So can you see I'm kind of gently pulling the fabric as I press it, because I want to inch back that bow. I'm just stealing back a couple of millimeters basically, or 1/8 of an inch. Oh look, it fits now. It's amazing what you can do with a good iron. There we go, up there. So don't panic too much because you're on the bias and it hasn't worked. Just eke it out. There we go. And it's fine. And this one. Right, I'm waffling now. I'm just going to do these quickly for you. Get that 3.5 there. There we go. 3.5 there. Tiny bit. And then get my 6.5 out. Which really is just the dog ears there. And there. But like, you know, I said, because they're bias ones, and if it's a technique you're not used to, don't worry too much, okay? As long as it's within 6 1/4, it'll disappear in the seam allowance. Okay. Last one. Take off that bit there. Round we go. And then we can put this box together and it's done. Okay, so who's there? Anybody having a chat? No? Somebody else is commenting by the looks of it. See that one? This fabric has really not... The dark greys acted nicely, but the coral has not acted nicely at all. And I gave myself wiggle room. There we go. I just ironed that, gave that a stretch and an iron. There we go. So just the dog ear there. 6.5. Really, it's just the dog ear there. Okay, right. My quilt makes you smile every time. I think it might have been your first ever quilt. There's so many mishaps with some of the points. Love the applique though. You've learned so much. Oh, bless you. When yours was red, white, blue, navy blue. I remember, Linda. Yeah, it was. I think it was your first ever quilt because it was ambitious for your first ever quilt. But you were like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with you, which was lush. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie these out now. So can you see the dark grey is touching the dark grey like this as you lie it round like this. So you're going dark grey to dark grey and you're going to get these extra points happening. You can see the block kind of appear. And then the last thing we're going to do is we've got those 3.5 inch squares from our background fabric which are going to sit in the corners. Okay. I quite like that though, Lind, is the fact that it was your first ever quilt and you can look back and go, oh no, look at what I did. Oh no, that type of thing. But at the same point, you've gone, yeah, but how much have I learnt since then? And you still love it, which is lush. But at the same point, it's really nice that you've learnt that much and stuff as well. You know, I think it's cool. I don't think anything is like Gail was saying yesterday, nothing's ever a mistake. It's just a learning process, isn't it? Right. I'm going to put this together in rows. So I'm going to go there with those two, that and that. Okay, in rows, and then we'll put the whole thing together. So that can go on like that. That can go there. Let's do this one first. So back over here. And by the smell of it, my tea's nearly ready as well. It smells amazing. There we go. Nice and gentle like that. Oh, not necessarily thanks to me, lovely. Thanks to your own determination as well, because you were determined that you were going to quilt and you weren't going to start simple. There we go. So that's that row. Grab the next row. There we go. So we're going to pop that one on there like that. Okay, chuck that under. Oh. Nah, went too fast. Come on, be nice. No, you're going to catch, aren't you? That's because of that seam there. So what I'm going to do, I know that that one's going in there. So I'm going to flip it so that I've got the flat of the flying geese on the bottom. and the seam on the top, and then hopefully, there you go, see? It's taking it this time. Oh, I tell you what, you'd think Tom was going to come through the ceiling the way he's banging and crashing around up there. He gets so overexcited when he's playing like computer games. Come on, here we go. Let's realign that because it's just caught a little bit. There we go. That's that one that side. Oh yeah, see, that worked nicely. Sometimes it's worth doing that, just as long as it's in the right place. If you're going to catch, you know, you can flip it over. Just make sure you're flipping it the right way. Okay, so I'm going to put that there to there. We're going to go that way so it's not catching. There we go. Make sure everything's trying to like, oh excuse me, my voice is going. Lie nice and flat, and there's quite a bump there. So again, hold on to the back here and don't pull, but just give it a bit of tension and it'll help it, that's me saying that, it'll help it get over the bump. There we go. Okay, slow down and get over that bump. And then last two, nearly there. I'm going to pop that one on there like that. This is just putting the block together. You probably didn't need me to show you this, did you? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory now. It's just the same as any other block that we normally do. Get that one on there, flip it so that everything's on the smooth bits on the bottom. Stop it catching in the feed dogs. Make sure that's tucked under the foot so it doesn't catch. There you go. Okay, right. Let's take this back over here. I'm going to iron it out. Okay, there we go. Now with this, it doesn't really matter which way you iron it out. I tend to, let's just have a look, see which way it wants to go. It wants to go towards the centre. So this centre piece, the seam, if you kind of play with it, you can kind of go, oh actually it feels like there's less bulk that way. So I'm going to let the centre one go inwards towards the pinwheel. Give that, again, give it another squirt of starch, and you want to do the same that way. There we go, like that. So that's going inwards. My 38th donation. Oh wow, Sandra, that's amazing. Oh, good on you. There we go, so that's that one. And because those have gone in, I want to make sure that these are going out, which works best because I've got background squares. There we go, there to there, like that, and then there to there, like that, and then we can lie it all out. There we go. I'm not going to sew the other ones now because my husband's looking at me because he's nearly ready. But that one would then go on there, and this would nest nicely here because you've got seams going in the opposite directions, like that. And then that one's going to go down there like that, okay? And that's your first block done. So you want to make 4 of those in any colour combination that you like, as we were talking about, all right? So just make 4 of those, and that's your first row. Don't put them together in a row yet, though, okay? Make the blocks, and we'll do all of that at the end. We'll put it all together right at the very end, all right? Because there's certain things you want to do when you start putting them together. So make your 4 blocks, and then next time we'll do the next set of stars. So that should hopefully measure 12.5 inches. Fingers crossed. Right. Hi. Everybody okay with that one? Apart from my stupid mistake with the measurements, I think we're okay. Yeah. It's not a particularly difficult block. You know, it's just take it step by step. There's some little fiddly little bits and stuff, but just go steady with it. You know, think about how you're feeding things through the machine and stuff. That's always kind of important with this. Sometimes, you know, you think, oh yeah, it's fine, just go, and then it all mangles up, and because you've got those biases, it can be funny. All right, so have a little go at this one. Our next one will be a fortnight tonight, okay? We will be doing the next block, which is this one, Okay, so this is the next one here. All right, and you can see with that one I did do it in different colours. There's lots of little tiny pieces in that one. Okay, this one's definitely a be precise one. All right, so get your precise practice in with this, and then we'll do that one. And then we'll get that one done in a fortnight today. So you got 2 whole weeks to make 4 blocks. I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm back tomorrow, but back at 1 o'clock, and we're going to be making some candy chickens. They're not actual, well, there is some actual candy. There's some actual chocolate going on, but we're going to make candy chickens, a little thing for Easter, but they can be adapted as well. So we're going to do that, but I'm back at 1 for that. And so I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Thank you all for joining me. Just checking out your comments. Oh, no problem. Oh, thank you guys. That's lovely. And I will see you tomorrow at 1. Have a nice evening. I'm going to go and eat my ramen. Yum, yum, yum. Extra chilli, extra coriander. Might have some extra bean sprouts as well. I'm trying to be good and have lots of extra veg at the moment. Putting on weight again. Oops. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.